Hello everyone, friends. In this video you will hear the 12 rules of John Rockefeller's wealth. As you know, John Davison Rockefeller has been recognized as the richest man in the world for the last 100 years. His financial condition, translated into current monetary units, would amount to over $340 billion. The 12 rules of John Rockefeller are excerpts collected by his admirers from quotations uttered by him ever and published in the autobiographical book Memoirs. John taught his only son these rules of wealth, and he passed them on to his 5 sons. Now the Rockefeller dynasty still remains one of the richest dynasties in the world, united with another richest American family, the Rothschilds. The attitude towards these people may be ambiguous, but it must be recognized that they know how to be rich, know how to become rich and maintain their wealth. And largely because it follows the 12 rules of John Rockefeller, who, coming from a rather poor large family, became a dollar billionaire and the world's largest oil magnate from scratch. Therefore, this person definitely has something to learn. John Rockefeller's Golden Rules. The first rule is to work less for someone. The more you don't work for yourself, the worse you live. Those who work all day have no time to earn money. John Rockefeller was convinced that working for his uncle is the way to nowhere by personal example. During his entire life, he worked for someone else's company for a very short time, and it was at a very early age, at the age of 16. Despite the fact that John quickly grew up the career ladder and, as a young man, rose from an accountant's assistant to the head of the company, he realized that this was a dead-end path of development, quit and became a business partner of another entrepreneur, while borrowing the missing capital at interest. The second rule: save money, look for where you can buy goods cheaper and wholesale, plan your shopping list in advance and buy only what is on the list. John Rockefeller had every penny in his account. He did not spend money on something that was not aimed at increasing capital. Since childhood, he has been creating savings by putting the money he earned into a piggy bank, which allowed him to issue his first loan at interest at the age of 13, and at the age of 18 to become a business partner. The third rule is that if you don't have enough money, you need to do business. If you don't have any money at all, you need to do business urgently, right now. It was in the opening of his business that John Rockefeller saw the best way to get rid of poverty and proved it perfectly by his example. Doing business, even if at first on a partnership basis, gave him the opportunity to turn from a poor man into a global oil magnate. Moreover, he wasted no time in starting a serious business very early, already at the age of 18. The fourth rule is that the path to great wealth lies only through passive income. The income that comes to you regardless of your efforts. Create a source of passive income and live for your pleasure. Gradually, John Rockefeller turned from a businessman into an investor. He was the owner of a large number of large enterprises that brought him income without much intervention. Only passive income, coming independently of one's own efforts, the possibility of which is always limited, can become a source of great wealth. Rockefeller perfectly proved the effect of this rule by his own example. The fifth rule is thinking about how to earn at least $50,000 a month. You can do more, you can't do less. This figure was recommended by Rockefeller for a reason. He believed that a rich person should not spend more than $50,000 a month. This is his limit, so he included this amount in his rules of wealth. The sixth rule is that money comes to you through other people. Communicate. Unsociable people rarely become rich. Rockefeller was convinced that communication with other people and a friendly attitude towards them helps to come to wealth, while it is much more difficult to do it yourself. Here we can recall that in his oil company Standard Oil, John Rockefeller issued salaries to employees with company shares, so they became personally interested in the success of the common cause, because their personal income on shares depended on it, so they worked with maximum diligence, enriching both themselves and the owner of the company. The seventh rule is that a poor environment almost always pulls you into poverty. Surround yourself with winners and optimists. John Rockefeller understood that the psychology of poverty is inherent in poor people. They always complained and did not take responsibility, so communication with them does not carry anything constructive, but on the contrary psychologically inclines to their own transition to similar thoughts. Rich people, on the contrary, have the psychology of success, they think with possibilities, are able to charge and motivate others with their optimism, so communication with such people is always constructive and useful. The eighth rule is that poverty arises if you evade responsibility. Don't make up an excuse for yourself why you can't start going to your goal right now. Often people try to justify their indecision by some external reasons. The eighth rule of Rockefeller's wealth states that there can be no excuses in this case, and by inventing them, a person only condemns himself to poverty. Therefore, you need to take full responsibility for your life. The ninth rule is to study the biographies and thoughts of the richest people in the world. The richest people in the world have proved by their own example how success can be achieved, so their stories and thoughts can always be used as a rule of wealth, a good example to follow. Actually, these 12 rules of John Rockefeller are just such a case. Therefore, if you want to get rich, you need to listen only to the rich, and not to your friends and acquaintances who are in the same position as you. The 10th rule is that dreams are the main thing in your life. A person begins to die when he stops dreaming. John Rockefeller was convinced that dreaming is not only not harmful, as the well-known saying goes, but also useful and even necessary. It is dreams and goals set based on dreams that lead a person to wealth. And if a person has no dreams, no vision of his future, he simply has nothing to strive for. John Rockefeller himself dreamed of earning $100,000 since childhood, and earned as much as $1,400,000,000. The 11th rule is to help people selflessly, from the bottom of your heart, but only to those whom you want to help yourself. Give 10% of the profits to charity. John Rockefeller was a philanthropist all his life. From early childhood he donated 10% of his earnings to the church, later engaged in financing other charitable projects, and in his old age he distributed about $500 million for charitable needs. Rockefeller recommends that you always help those who need it, just like that, from the bottom of your heart, not out of selfish motives. The 12th rule is to create business systems that will work by themselves and enjoy your earned money. The last rule of John Rockefeller's wealth means that it is pointless to accumulate money just like that, you need to use it for your own good, enjoying it. Wealth should make a person happy, otherwise it has no meaning. These are the 12 rules of John Rockefeller's wealth. Take a note of them and apply them in life. After all, this person can be considered one of the best authorities in achieving wealth, and if judged by the level of financial condition, then the best. Friends, thank you so much.